Okay, so now we will solve few numericals of this particular unit, flow through pipes. First is the laminar flow. Okay, so the very first question says the velocity profile of a fully developed laminar flow in a straight circular pipe is as shown in figure. So the velocity profile is given, UR is given by the expression where dp by dx is constant. The average velocity of the fluid in the pipe is, we have to determine the average velocity of the fluid. So first of all I will tell you what actually is the conventional method, because that is very much essential to understand this concept, and then I will tell you the shortcut trick. Okay, such questions can be solved hardly within 10 to 15 seconds. So first I will tell you the conventional trick, conventional method. Okay, so what the conventional method says, if we want to determine the velocity, okay, so velocity can be determined, v is equal to q by a. Okay, now first we will have to determine the value of this q. Okay, but the velocity with respect to radius is not constant, velocity is varying with respect to radius, u is with respect to r. Okay, that means velocity is varying, and we can see here that maximum velocity is at the center. Okay, so because velocity is not constant with respect to r, so obviously the discharge dq, what will be the discharge if I take the cross section of this pipe? Okay, so for taking discharge, what I will have to do is I will take a small area at a radius, suppose a small r. Okay, the thickness is dr and the radius is small r. Okay, so dq will be equal to what? So this dq will be equal to velocity, which is u, into the area of this strip, the area of this strip, which is nothing but 2 pi r into dr. Getting this or not? Okay, now velocity u is given with respect to r, so this dq will be equal to minus r square by 4 mu dp by dx into 1 minus small r square by capital R square. Getting this? Okay, now we want to calculate the total discharge, so we will have to integrate it from 0 to capital R. So just integrate it from 0 to capital R and we will get the total discharge. Okay, so just integrate this, what we will get is, okay, so this will be q will be equal to, these are constants, minus r square by 4 mu, and in question it is given dp by dx is also constant. Okay, and this is the value for u, we will have to multiply it by 2 pi r into dr. So this into 2 pi r into dr. Okay, so just take 2 pi also as constant, so inside we will get what? R minus r cube by r square, integration from 0 to r into dr. Okay, so just integrate this, this will be minus r square by 4 mu dp by dx into 2 pi. Okay, the integration of r will be r square by 2 minus integration of r cube will be r raised power 4 by 4 into r square from 0 to r. Just put the limits, so we will get what? Minus r square by 4 mu dp by dx into 2 pi. Okay, into, when we put the limit, this will be r square by 2 minus this will be r square by 4. So we will get what? R square by 4, r square by 2 minus r square by 4. Okay, so overall we will get what? Minus r raised power 4, this 2 times r square by 4 by 8 mu into dp by dx into pi. This is the value for q. Now we want to determine velocity, so this velocity, average velocity is equal to q by a. Okay, average velocity. Okay, so the total average velocity is total discharge upon total area, so this will be equal to minus r raised power 4 by 8 mu pi dp by dx divided by a, which is pi r square. Okay, so from here we will get what? This will be minus r square, this r square will cancel out and pi will be cancelled out, r square by 8 mu into dp by dx. Okay, so answer should be A. Okay, but this method is a conventional method, obviously this will take much time, so better would be that we should solve this question with the help of shortcut trick. Now I will tell you the shortcut trick. So what the shortcut trick says, so I told you one thing, for the flow through pipes, the ratio of maximum velocity to mean velocity is 2. Okay, and maximum velocity is at center where r is equal to 0, at center r is equal to 0. So Vmax, if I want to calculate, I can put r is equal to 0 here and I will get the value of this Vmax. So this Vmax will be equal to, just put r is equal to 0 here, so this will be minus r square by 4 mu into dp by dx. This will be 1 minus 0. Okay, so this is Vmax. So V mean will be equal to Vmax by 2. So this will be equal to minus r square by 8 mu into dp by dx. Answer. Okay, so answer is A. This is capital R square. Answer should be A. Minus r square by 8 mu into dp by dx. Okay, so hardly within 10 to 15 seconds you can solve such questions. Okay, next question. For a fully developed flow through a pipe, the ratio of maximum velocity to average velocity. Flow through pipe, fully developed flow through pipe, as I told you, ratio of maximum velocity Vmax by V mean, V average is nothing but 2, is 2. Okay, next question. Maximum velocity of a one-dimensional incompressible fully developed viscous flow between two fixed parallel plate is 6 meter per second. The mean velocity of the flow is, maximum velocity is given, mean velocity we have to determine. Okay, and this is the flow between two parallel plates, and as I told you, for parallel plates, for flow between parallel plates, mostly the questions are asked from the same concept. Okay, so Vmax by V mean for parallel plates, Vmax by V mean is 1.5. Okay, so maximum velocity is given, so mean velocity is Vmax by 1.5, 6 by 1.5, so this will be equal to 4 meter per second. Answer. Getting this now? Okay, next question. In a fully developed laminar flow in a circular pipe, the head loss due to friction is directly proportional to. In a fully developed laminar flow in a circular pipe, we have to calculate the head loss. So head loss formula I have told you, HF is equal to 32 mu VL by rho g d square for a laminar flow. Okay, and here you can see that this HF is directly proportional to V, mean velocity. Okay, so this will be the directly proportional to mean velocity. Answer should be mean velocity. Clear or not? Okay, next question. The pressure drop for laminar flow of a liquid in a smooth pipe at normal temperature and pressure is. Pressure drop for a laminar flow of a liquid in a smooth pipe at normal temperature and pressure. So pressure drop formula we know, P1 by P2 is equal to 32 mu VL by d square. Okay, so just check it. This is directly proportional to density? No, not directly proportional to density. Inversely proportional to density? No. Independent of density? Yes, this is independent of density. And last is proportional to density dash power 0.575. Answer should be C. Clear or not? Okay, next question. The velocity profile in a fully developed laminar flow in a pipe of diameter d is given by U is equal to U naught 1 minus 4r square by d square. Okay, where r is the radial distance from the center. If the viscosity of the fluid is mu, the pressure drop across the length L of the pipe is. We want to calculate the pressure drop. Viscosity is given as mu and the velocity profile is given. Okay, so first question we have already solved such question. So for determining the pressure drop, we know what pressure drop P1 minus P2 is 32 mu VL by d square. Okay, or P1 minus P2 by rho g is equal to 32 mu VL by rho g d square. Rho g gets cancelled out, as we have seen this formula. Okay, now for this we have to calculate this mean velocity V. Okay, so same thing, mean velocity. How can we calculate the mean velocity? So for that, V mean is equal to V maximum by 2. Okay, and for V maximum will be at r is equal to 0. So just put r is equal to 0 here. We will get what? U naught. Okay, minus 1 minus 0. So this will be U naught. Okay, so this will be equal to U naught by 2. Okay, so pressure difference P1 minus P2 is equal to 32 mu U naught by 2 into L by d square. So this will be 16 times. So this will be equal to 16 mu U naught L by d square. Answer. Okay, so answer should be D. Simple. Clear or not? Okay, next question. The discharge in meter cube per second for laminar flow through a pipe of diameter 0.04 meter having a center line velocity of 1.5 meter per second is. Same thing, center line velocity means maximum velocity. When the water is flowing through pipe, maximum velocity will be at center. Okay, that means maximum velocity is given. What we have to calculate? We have to calculate the discharge. Okay, so discharge, how can we calculate discharge? Discharge is nothing but total A into V average. Okay, so first of all let us calculate this V average. So this V average is nothing but V max by 2, because this is a pipe. Okay, so this will be equal to 1.5 by 2, so V average is 0.75 meter per second. Getting this? Now what will be Q? So Q is equal to A into V. A is pi by 4 into D square. D is 0.04 square into 0.75. Okay, so from here we will get the answer as this will be equal to 3 pi by 10,000 meter cube per second. Okay, so answer should be D. Clear or not? Okay, next question says water is flowing through a horizontal pipe of constant diameter and the flow is laminar. If the diameter of the pipe is increased by 50%, keeping the volume flow rate constant, then the pressure drop in the pipe due to friction will decrease by. Okay, so water is flowing through a horizontal pipe of constant diameter and the flow is laminar. Okay, so for laminar flow we know by Hagen-Poiseuille formula HF is equal to P1 minus P2 by gamma, which will be equal to 128 mu QL upon gamma pi d raised power 4 in terms of discharge. This formula we have already seen. Okay, so this gamma will get cancelled out and we will get what? Del P is equal to 128 mu QL by pi d raised power 4. Getting this? Okay, now in second case the diameter is becoming d dash is increased by 50%, so the d dash will be equal to 1.5 of d. So in next case this del P will be equal to 128 mu QL by pi into 1.5 d dash power 4. Getting this now? Okay, so from here this will be del P dash. So from here this del P by del P dash, this will be equal to, just divide this, we will get what? 1.5 d dash to the power 4. Okay, so this will be equal to 0.2 times of or you can say del P dash is equal to 0.2 times of del P. Okay, so answer should be D. Now because what is asked in the question is the pressure drop in the pipe due to friction will decrease by means we have got the final pressure drop as 20 times of initial pressure drop. That means it has decreased by 80%. That's why the answer is 80%. Getting this or not? Okay, next question says for a laminar flow through a long pipe, the pressure drop per unit length increase. What will be the pressure drop per unit length for a laminar flow through a long pipe? So same formula, Hagen-Poiseuille formula, P1 minus P2 by L is equal to 32 mu V by D square. P1 minus P2 is equal to 32 mu VL by D square. Okay, we have to calculate what? The pressure drop per unit length. So P1 minus P2 by L is equal to 32 mu V by D square. Okay, now is in a linear proportion of cross section area? No, this is not a linear proportion of cross section area. In proportion of diameter of the pipe? No. In inverse proportion to the cross section area. So this P1 minus P2 is inversely proportional to D square. Okay, so this will be the answer, inverse proportion of cross section area in inverse proportion of square of cross section area, not the square of cross section area. Okay, so answer should be C. Clear? Next question. Two pipes of uniform section but different diameters carry water at same volumetric flow rate. Water properties are same in the two pipes. The Reynolds number based on the pipe diameter is. Okay, so we have got two different pipes which are having uniform section but different diameter. Diameter is different, cross section is uniform. Okay, so we know Reynolds number what? Reynolds number is equal to what? Rho V D by mu. Okay, now this can further be written as, so this V can be written as Q by A. Okay, and this A can be written as pi by 4 into D square. So just put the value. So this will be rho D by mu into q by pi by 4 into t square. That means this Reynolds number is inversely proportional to d square. Getting this? Not that means if diameter is less, this Reynolds number will be more. Okay, so just look at the options. The Reynolds number based on the pipe diameter is same in the both pipes? No, because diameter is different. Is large in narrow pipe? Is large in narrow pipe? Yes, because this Reynolds number is inversely proportional to d square. So less is the diameter, more will be the Reynolds number. Is it smaller in narrower pipe? No, depends on pipe material. No. Okay, so answer should be B. Clear or not? Next question. A 0.2 meter diameter pipe 20 kilometer long transport oil at the flow rate of 0.01 meter cube per second. Calculate the power required to maintain the flow if the dynamic viscosity and density of oil are given. Dynamic viscosity is given and density of oil, that means nu is given and rho is given. Okay, so we have to calculate what? The power required to maintain the flow. Okay, now how much power will be required to maintain the flow? If the fluid is flowing, obviously there will be certain frictional losses. So to overcome that frictional loss, if we want that the fluid should flow continuously, we have to overcome those frictional loss. Getting this now? So first we can calculate that frictional loss, the head due to friction loss, and because of that head the power will be lost. That power we will have to calculate. Okay, so we know the formula for power loss. Power is equal to rho g QH. Okay, and this H is nothing but the head loss, because whatever head is lost, the same amount of head we will have to provide. So power is required to provide that much amount of head. Okay, so this much power is required. So HF, first we can calculate the value of this HF. We know what? For laminar flow 128 mu QL in terms of Q upon gamma pi d raised power 4. Okay, so just put all the values. So this will be equal to 128 into mu. Mu is given as 0.08, sorry, this is mu, not nu. Okay, into Q. Q is given as 0.01 into length, which is 20 kilometer or 20,000 meter, divided by gamma. Gamma is nothing but rho into g. Rho is 900 into 9.81 into pi into d raised power 4. Diameter is 0.2 meter. Okay, so this much will be HF, which is equal to 46.14 meter. Okay, now from here we can calculate the power, which will be equal to rho g QF. Rho will be 900 into 9.81 into Q is given as 0.01 into 46.14. So this will be equal to 4.074 kilowatt. Answer. Getting this or not? Okay. Okay. Coming to next question. Consider a steady, laminar, incompressible, axisymmetric, fully developed viscous flow through a straight circular pipe of constant cross-sectional area at Reynolds number of phi. The ratio of inertia force to viscous force of the fluid particle is. Okay, so the Reynolds number is given as phi, and we know what Reynolds number is nothing but ratio of inertia force to viscous force. Okay, so this ratio of inertia force to viscous force of the fluid particle will be phi. Answer will be A. Okay, next question. The parameters which determines the friction factor for the turbulent flow in a rough pipe are. Okay, so for turbulent flow, as I told you, the friction factor F is equal to 4 into F dash. Okay, where F dash is the coefficient of friction. Coefficient of friction obviously will depend on the surface area, the surface finish, or you can call it as roughness of the surface. Okay, obviously it depends only on the relative roughness. Okay, but according to the option, I don't think there is any other option, so the answer C should be right, Reynolds number and relative roughness. For turbulent flow, obviously it will depend only on surface roughness. For laminar flow, as I told you, F dash is equal to 64 by Re. Okay, so I don't know why, but the answer seems to be C. C only seems to be the correct answer. However, according to this question, none of the answer can be correct. Okay, The answer should be only relative roughness, because it depends only on relative roughness f dash. Okay. Next question. Oil flows through a 200 mm diameter horizontal cast pipe. Friction factor F is given as 0.0225 of length 500 meter. Volumetric flow rate 0.2 meter cube per second. The head loss we have to determine. Okay, so head loss, the formula for head loss, HF is equal to 8 FLQ square by pi square G d raised power 5. Getting this? Okay, so just put all the value. Friction factor, the value of friction factor is also given, so this will be equal to 8 into F is given as 0.0225, length is given as 500 meter, into Q square. Q, how much is given? Volumetric flow rate 0.2, this will be 0.2 square divided by pi square G 9.81 into d raised power 5. D is 200 mm or 0.2 meter raised power 5. So this head loss HF will be equal to 116.18 meter. Okay, so answer should be A. Clear or not? Okay. Next question. Now, a siphon draws water from a reservoir and discharges it out at atmospheric pressure. Assuming ideal fluid and reservoir is large, the velocity at point P in the siphon tube. Okay, so for solving such type of question, first I will tell you the conventional method, then we can derive shortcut trick also from this. If we apply Bernoulli's equation between the 2 points, suppose this is the point, this is first point, this is our second point, the surface of this liquid, this is our second point. If I apply Bernoulli's equation between these 2 points, why we are applying between these 2 points? Because velocity at point this and this will be same, because the cross sectional area are same. Okay, so if I apply the Bernoulli's principle between these 2 points, suppose this is point 1 and this is point 2. Okay, so Bernoulli's principle says P1 by gamma plus V1 square by 2G plus Z1 is equal to P2 by gamma plus V2 square by 2G plus Z2. Okay, now just put all the values. So here, as we know, P1 is equal to atmospheric pressure, P2 is also equal to atmospheric pressure, so this will be cancelled out. First thing, V1 velocity is equal to 0. Okay, the value of Z1 will be equal to total. Suppose this total is X, we are assuming this total as X. Okay, so Z1 will be equal to, this is Z1, which is X minus H1. Okay, this is Z1, sorry, X minus H1 is equal to V2 square by 2G plus Z2. Z2 is how much? Total is X minus H2. X minus S2. Okay, this is Z1, this is Z1. Okay, and this will be Z2. Getting this one? Okay, so just put all the values, so we will get what? So from here, this V2 XX will get cancelled out, will be equal to under root of 2G S2 minus H1. Okay, this is the final velocity. V2 is under root of 2G S2 minus H1. Okay, so answer should be this one, C. Clear or not? Okay, now one more thing, when the pressure at both ends, where we are applying Bernoulli's equation, if the pressure at both ends are equal and the velocity at one point is equal, we can directly put energy balance. That means mgh, total kinetic energy, is equal to total potential energy. That means here we just have the kinetic energy, here we just have the potential energy, no kinetic energy, velocity is 0. Here we are having the kinetic energy, potential energy is 0. Okay, so total kinetic energy is equal to total potential energy, or you can say half mv square is equal to mgh. So v is equal to under root of 2gh. Okay, where this h is nothing but the difference between the 2 points. That means difference between the top surface of the fluid and the point where we have to determine the velocity. Getting this not? Because there is an external point, here the pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure, here also pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure. That's why we are putting this between those 2 points, and that's why we are not applying Bernoulli's between these 2 points. Okay, so this h is nothing but the difference between, that means this distance is nothing but h, difference between the free liquid surface and the point where we have to determine. So this v will be equal to under root of 2g this distance. How much is this distance? Total, this is h2 minus h1, 2g into h2 minus h1. This is the shortcut trick. Directly you can put this formula, v is equal to under root of 2g h2 minus h1, or the difference between the free liquid surface and the point where we have exit point where we have to determine the velocity. Getting this or not? I will show you some more examples with this. This is another question. The discharge velocity at the pipe exit in the figure is, okay, here we have to determine the velocity at this point, as at point 2. This is suppose point 1. Okay, so same thing we can apply Bernoulli's, and finally we will get what? V is equal to under root of 2gh. And what is h? H is the distance between the free liquid surface and the exit point. Okay, so the distance between the free liquid surface and the exit point, this distance is already given as h. So this will be v is equal to under root of 2gh. Okay, if you want, you can apply Bernoulli's equation also, and you can determine this. You will get the same answer. Okay, similarly, one more question is there. Shown below are 3 tanks. Tank 1 without an orifice tube, and tank 2 and 3 with orifice tube as shown. Neglecting losses and assuming the diameter of orifice to be much less than that of the tank, write expression for the exit velocity in each of the 3 tanks. Okay, we have to write the expression for exit velocity in these 3 tanks. Provided in tank 1 orifice is not there, and in tank 2 and 3 orifice is there. Okay, so exit velocity at this point. So here this exit velocity v2 will be equal to under root of 2gh. Okay, and h is nothing but the distance between, I am telling you again and again, h is the distance between the free liquid surface and the exit point. So here the distance between free liquid surface and the exit point is capital H. So this will be under root of 2g capital H. This is for tank 1. Getting this now? Okay, similarly for tank 2, v2 is equal to under root of distance between the free liquid surface and exit of the tank. So total distance is h plus l. So 2g h plus l. Similarly for tank 3, v2 is equal to under root of same thing, 2g into h plus l. Okay, the only difference which was given here is this extra part whose distance is given as a, but this doesn't matter. Okay, we just have to take the distance between the exit free liquid surface and the exit point. Getting this or not? Okay, next question says a syringe with frictionless plunger contains water and its end 100 mm long needle of 1 mm diameter. Assuming ideal flow, the force F in Newton required on the plunger to push out the water is. Okay, so we have this syringe which contains a water, and its end is this is 100 mm long end which is of 1 mm diameter. Okay, we have to determine the force in Newton required to push the plunger. Okay, so in order to determine the force, the first thing is to determine the pressure, how much pressure here is acting. Okay, so suppose this point is point 1 and the exit point is suppose point 2. So obviously if I can determine the value of this P1, the pressure at point 1, so pressure into area will directly give me force. So I have to calculate this value P1. So how can we calculate this P1? So for this P1, applying Bernoulli's equation, so this will give us P1 by gamma plus V1 square by 2g. Height is same at both points, so neglecting that z part, is equal to P2 by gamma plus V2 square by 2g. Getting this or not? Okay, now P1 we have to calculate. P2, the value of P2 is 0, gauge pressure is 0 because this is exposed to atmosphere. So this, taking this as 0, obviously what we will get as P1 will be the gauge pressure only. Okay, so from here just put the values. Okay, so this P1 by gamma is rho g is equal to V2 square minus V1 square by 2g. So this gg will get cancelled out. P1 by rho is equal to V2 square minus V1 square by 2. Okay, now the value of V1 is given, which is 10 mm per second. Okay, V1 is given as 10 mm per second. V2 we can determine how? A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2. Okay, now A1, the diameter here is given as 10 mm and here the diameter is 1 mm. So A1 will be pi by 4 into 10 square, pi by 4 will get cancelled out, 10 square into V1 which is 10 mm is equal to 1 square into V2 which you have to determine. Okay, so this V2, from here we will get the value of this V2 which will be equal to 1000 mm per second, mm per second. Getting this? So just put the value. So this will be equal to V2 is 1000 mm per second in terms of meter per second, 1 meter per second, minus V1 is 10 mm per second in terms of meter per second, 0.01 meter per second divided by 2. Getting this? Okay, so this P1 from here will be equal to, this rho will be 1000, so this P1 will be equal to 499.95 Pascal. Getting this? So we got the value of this pressure. So once we have got the value of pressure, obviously we can determine the value of force. So this force is equal to pressure P1 into A1. So this will be 499.95 into A1 is pi by 4 into d square, and diameter here is given as 10 mm. So pi by 4 into 0.01 square. So the force will be equal to 0.0393 Newton or approximately 0.04 Newton. So answer should be B, first thing. Okay. Now the next part of this question says, okay, so next part of this question says, neglect the losses in the cylinder and assume fully developed laminar viscous flow throughout the needle. The Darcy friction factor is 64 by Re, where Re is Reynolds number. Given that the viscosity of water is 1 into 10 raised power minus 3 kg per meter second, the force in Newton required by the plunger is. Okay. Now we are neglecting the losses and assuming fully developed flow. Here the Darcy friction factor is given. That means there is a head loss due to friction. Okay. In this case we were not considering any head loss. Total initial energy was equal to total final energy, Bernoulli's equation. But here we are considering the head loss. So obviously that head loss will be added in the final energy, HF. Okay. So final equation will become P1 by gamma plus V1 square by 2G, this is total initial energy, initial head you can say, is equal to P2 by gamma plus V2 square by 2G, okay, plus loss in head. Okay, so then only the initial head will be equal to final head, because there is HF amount of loss in head. Okay, now how to calculate this HF? So I have told you the process. Okay, so how can we determine HF? So this HF we know is F dash L V square by 2G into D. Okay, so for this first we will have to determine this F dash, and F dash, here this F dash is equal to 64 by Re. So for this we will have to determine the value of Re, Reynolds number, and Reynolds number we know is rho Vd by mu. Okay, and we have to calculate at exit, so this will be rho V2 D2 by mu. Okay, so just put all the values. So this will be equal to what? Rho is 1000, V2 final velocity is how much? We have already determined, which is 1 meter per second or 1000 mm per second into diameter is 0.001 1 mm divided by mu. Mu is given as 10 raised power minus 3. Okay, so this Re will be equal to 1000. Okay, now the value of Re is 1000. We can determine the value of this F dash. So this F dash will be equal to 64 by 1000, which is 0.064. Okay, and HF, just put all the value, F dash L V square by 2G into D. L is the length of this section. Okay, length of this section, which is 100 mm. Okay, so just put all the values. So this HF will be equal to 0.33 meter of water column. Getting this now? Okay, now just put all the values. We have the value of this P1, V1, P2, V2, HF. Okay, sorry, we have the value of V1, P2, V2 and HF. So we can calculate the value of this P1. So from here this P1 will be equal to 3700 Newton per meter square. Okay, you can calculate it. Similarly, F is equal to P1 into A1 So this F will be equal to 0.3 Newton. Okay, similar way you can calculate this. Getting this not? Okay, so answer is 0.3 Newton, C. Okay, next question. Okay, next question says fluid is flowing with an average velocity V through a pipe of diameter D over a length L. The head loss is given by FLV square by 2D. The friction factor F for laminar flow in terms of Reynolds number is. Okay, so for laminar flow we know friction factor F is equal to 64 by RE. Answer. Okay, this will be 64 by RE. Friction factor in terms of laminar flow, in terms of friction factor. Getting this? Okay, next question. Water at 25 degrees centigrade is flowing through 1 kilometer long GI pipe of 200 mm diameter at the rate of 0.07 meter square per second. If value of Darcy friction factor for the pipe is 0.02 and density of water is 1000 kg per meter cube, the pumping power required to maintain the flow is. Now, why is the pumping power required? Because the pipe is because the water is flowing through the pipe and there is continuous loss of head in the water. So in order to get the water flowing, we will have to apply the power. Okay, that is known as the pumping power. Okay, so how much pumping power is required? That the work of that pumping power is to overcome the loss of head. That means the whatever head is lost, that much extra amount of power will be provided. Okay, so this power P will be equal to rho G Q into HF. Getting this now? Okay, now HF we know is what? 8 FLQ square upon pi square G d raised power 5 we know. Okay, so from here we can put all the value. We have the values. I will just put the value. This will be 25.3 and the power we will get will be 17.4 kilowatt. Answer. Okay, you can put the values and get the answer. Okay, next question. Oil is being pumped through a straight pipe. The length, diameter and volumetric flow rate are all doubled in the new arrangement. Length, diameter and volumetric flow rate all are doubled. The pipe friction factor remains same, which remains constant. The ratio of pipe frictional losses in the new arrangement to that of the original configuration is. Pipe friction losses in the new arrangement to that of the original arrangement. So, okay, so we know what HL is equal to 8 FLQ square upon pi square G d raised power 5. Okay, now in the new arrangement HL dash, the length is getting doubled, friction factor is same, so this will be 8 F, length is getting doubled 2L, Q is getting doubled 2Q square divided by pi square G, diameter is also getting doubled 2D raised power 5. Getting this? Okay, if I take the ratio, so this HL by HL dash will be equal to 4, but we have to calculate the ratio of pipe in the new arrangement to that of the original configuration. That means we have to calculate HL dash by HL, which is equal to 1 by 4 or 0.25. Answer is A. Getting this or not? Okay, next question. Okay, a 400 meter long horizontal pipe is to deliver 900 kg of oil per minute. Okay, if the head loss is not to exceed, maximum head loss is given as 8 meter of oil, find the pipe diameter. The friction factor for the laminar flow is given. Okay, so we have to determine the pipe diameter here. So how to determine this pipe diameter? So for this, the friction factor HF, the head loss, friction head loss HF will be equal to FLV square by D into 2G. Okay, this diameter we have to determine. So for this, first we will have to determine this friction factor F. And what is this friction factor? Say this friction factor F is equal to 64 by RE. Okay, and RE is what? RE is equal to rho VD by mu. Okay, but here we have the kinematic viscosity given. Nu is given 0.0002. So this will be equal to V into D by nu. Okay, first thing. Second thing, we have to determine this velocity V. Okay, so mean velocity. So what is this velocity v? This v will be equal to q divided by a. Okay, now how to determine the value of this q? So this q will be equal to m divided by rho, mass flow rate divided by density will be q. Okay, now what is this mass? This mass flow rate is 900 kg per minute. So this will be 900 kg per minute divided by the density, which is S is given as 0.9. So density is 0.9 into 1000, which is again 900 into 1000. So this will be 1 meter cube per minute. Okay, this is in meter cube per minute. Why? Because mass is in meter cube per minute. Getting this? Okay, so now this velocity v will be equal to q by a. This is 1 meter cube per minute. If you want, you can convert it into per second. So this will be 1 by 60 divided by area, which is pi by 4 into d square. Okay, so this will be equal to 0.0212 divided by d square. Getting this? Okay, now just put the values. So here we have this will be hf is equal to f will be 64 by re. Re is Vd by nu, so this will be 64 by Vd into nu into L into V square divided by D into 2G. Okay, so this 1V will get cancelled out. Okay, and this HF is given as 8 meter of oil. This will be equal to 64 into nu is given as 0.0002 into length is given as how much? 400 meter long pipe into velocity we have determined as 0.0212 divided by d square. Okay, so we have this 1 d square, then we have this d and d. So total this will be d raised to power 4 into 2 into 9.81. Okay, so from here we can calculate the value of this d, which will be equal to 162 mm. Answer. Clear or not? Okay, next question. Okay, next question says consider a saline bottle shown if rho is the density of saline, find pressure at A, the velocity of flow of saline through the tube, neglect viscous losses in the tube. Okay, so first we have to determine the pressure at this point, pressure at point A. So how can we determine this pressure at point A? So we know that what the pressure at point B, Pb is equal to total pressure at point A plus pressure because of this fluid, because of this saline water. Okay, so plus rho g into S2. Getting this not? Okay, so from here this Pa will be equal to pressure at point A we have to determine, this will be equal to Pb minus rho g S2. Okay, now point B is exposed to atmosphere, as you can see. Okay, so this Pb will be equal to 0, gauge pressure at B will be equal to 0, that means the pressure is equal to the atmospheric pressure. So whatever pressure we are getting for A is nothing but gauge pressure, which is equal to minus rho g H2, this much gauge pressure. Getting this? First thing. Next part says the velocity of flow of saline through the tube. Okay, so we have to determine the velocity at point D, flow of saline through tube, that means velocity at point D we have to determine. So for this we will apply Bernoulli's equation between point A and point D. Okay, so what the Bernoulli's equation says, Pa by gamma plus Va square by 2G plus distance, this distance is H1, so this will be plus H1 is equal to Pd by gamma plus Vd square by 2G. Okay, and S2 is 0, this point D is at datum, so this will be 0. Okay, now the points at point A the velocity is 0, so this term is equal to 0. At point D the pressure is 0, since this is atmospheric pressure, so the gauge pressure is taken as 0. Okay, so finally we will get what? So this will be Pa by rho g plus H1 is equal to Vd square by 2G. Okay, or you can say this Pa can be written as, now this Pa as we have already determined is equal to minus rho g S2. Okay, so just put the value. So this Pa can be written as minus rho g S2 by rho g is equal to Vd square by 2G. Okay, now this rho g will get cancelled out, sorry, plus H1 also here. So here this will be equal to h1 minus s2 is equal to vd square by 2g, or you can say vd is equal to 2g under root of 2g h1 minus s2. Okay, so this is the expression for velocity at point D. Answer.